It's not unusual for a lawyer to represent two or more clients in the same matter. Such an arrangement can be efficient and keep legal costs low, but it also creates opportunities for conflicts of interest to arise. We explore one such conflict in Anderson versus O'Brien. Ann Anderson was an elderly, childless widow who owned a house in a desirable neighborhood. Anderson had no desire to sell her home and turned down several unsolicited offers. James and Mauriane O'Brien befriended Anderson in order to persuade her to sell them her house. Anderson eventually agreed after the O'Briens promised to build her a cottage on the property where she could live for the rest of her life. The O'Briens arranged for their attorney, Peter Manko, to represent all parties in the sale. Manko prepared the real estate contract and other closing documents. The contract referenced Anderson's right to live in a cottage on the property, but failed to provide her with a life estate in the property. A month before the specified closing date, while Anderson was sick, the O'Briens unexpectedly picked Anderson up and took her to Manko's office for the closing. Anderson questioned if she should have her own attorney, but the O'Briens and Manko reassured her that Manko would effectively represent all parties. Anderson didn't read the closing documents, nor were they read aloud to her, and, despite her concerns, she signed the documents. After the closing, the O'Briens began to treat Anderson cruelly. The structure they built for her was more like a small barn than a cottage, and wasn't big enough for all her belongings. Anderson sued the O'Briens for fraud, breach of contract, and emotional distress, and Manko for malpractice, recklessness, fraud, unfair trade practices, and breach of fiduciary duty. Manko moved to strike Anderson's allegations of recklessness and breach of fiduciary duty. Manko argued that Anderson failed to assert facts sufficient to support these claims. The Connecticut Superior Court considered his motion.